All-Star Western number 9, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, art by Moritat. Last issue, well, I guess I should say that this issue is technically a tie-in to Night of the Owls, but it is in the most loosest sense possible. And I shame these writers, or the editorial at least, for trying to make that a thing. So anyway, last issue left off with seemingly Hex's plan found out that he was, actually a bounty hunter, and he was about to be put on a ship with Jeremiah Arkham that is about to be sunk into the bottom of the sea. So as soon as this little rowboat's going over, immediately Jonah Hex just busts out of his rope that's keeping him bound up because he's got Nighthawk's little talisman on there. And the narration from Arkham is basically saying everything that you just saw over the past 2 issues was all part of the plan. Arkham was meant to be arrested because they knew that someone in the police had to be on this little conspiracy group of the August 7. So he would then let blab what was going on, which would then put Hex in the exact place where he needed to be in order to save the boat and also have all of the members of August 7 exposed for Nighthawk and sending him in to attack him. And all of that stuff happens. So Hex takes out the people on the boat. The August 7 are attacked by Nighthawk and Cinnamon. Arkham gets in the way for a little bit, but he's kind of trying to help as best he can. But then we see that in the end, Hex, Nighthawk, and Cinnamon managed to take out the August 7 and get them all bound up. So in the end, they're like, you can't stop us. We represent high society. You're the criminals and the murderers. And then Cinnamon just kicks him in the face, and Hex gives back the talisman to Nighthawk and asks, okay, I've helped you. Now you got to help me. Do you have any information on the whereabouts of Thurston Moody, a.k.a. the whole reason Hex came down here to begin with? Now, this is where it technically becomes a tie-in to Night of the Owls, because Thurston Moody, on the other side of town, is running through the city with all these weird things just looking at him. And he's apparently running away from a Talon who was sent from Gotham to New Orleans in order to kill Thurston Moody because he put him being out there as a loose end that may expose the Court of Owls. So the Talon came to kill him, and she very nearly did so until Hex showed up on his horse and was just like, okay, who are you? So he went ahead and fired off a shot at the Talon. Didn't seem to land, but she did manage to kill Thurston and just knife through the throat. And I'm saying she, it's very clearly a female Talon. But anyway, she escapes off into the darkness, and Hex and Arkham are just left standing there like, what was that? Arkham says yeah, I've seen that before. And he's like, you've seen one of them before? He's like, no, she moved around like an acrobat. It was clearly an acrobatics thing. He's like, yes, of course. And he's like, yeah, also, I used to have myself a wife. She's Chinese. She used to jump around all crazy like that. Said it was like Shao something or another. And immediately Arkham's like, hold. You had a wife? And Hex pulls out the dagger that was in the throat of Moody, sees that it has an owl on the crest. And Arkham's like, oh, an owl. I remember his house having a lot of owls in it. Maybe there's some sort of a connection there. And Hex is like, I don't care about your theorizing. Help me get the body on the horse and let's go. And he's like, all right, fine, but I want to hear more about this wife. And as soon as he says wife, Hex just punches him in the face and says, if you say wife one more time. And that's where it leaves off there. We do get another quick thing back in Gotham 3 weeks later, where they're at the Wayne Casino and a bunch of rich people are talking about you know what we should be fighting for, what we should actually play with, the greatest commodity of them all, land. Land is the only thing that truly matters. And we see them just discussing how they have all these plans with land and how not Thomas Wayne, whoever the Wayne at this point is, Alan Wayne is planning on reserving some land for a botanical garden, which is currently overrun by poison ivy, hardy har har, and the other people there don't like that because they want it to be, things that can be used for money. And as they're having this whole conversation, we see these boots with spurs, with skulls on them, walking down the hall towards them. And as we see who arrives, it's this woman who's dressed pretty much head to toe in cowboy garb, got an eye patch and a big ass shotgun. And she's like, all right, here's the deal. You guys took my family's land and dispatched agents to kill my whole family in order to do it. So I'm here to get revenge. And they're like, we have no idea who you are. So she holds him at gunpoint, and before she can even get off a shot, this dude in a red hood and like dressed up as, the best way I can describe it is like Assassin's Creed garb, jumps down from a skylight and protects the rich guys because apparently he's a hired goon for them. And this woman's name is Tallulah Black, and she gets in a fight with this guy, but she honestly isn't able to keep up. The red hooded person throws Tallulah out the window. She crashes down to the ground outside where Hex is already there standing, and he's just like, oh, what did you get yourself into this time? So I guess they have a history, and that's where we leave off. It's fast. It's got 3 different like acts to it. Of Act 1, the entire thing was a plan all along. Act 2, technically the tie into the event going on, and then Act 3, the future setup. So in that sense, it feels weird to just label it all as one story because they are so completely disconnected. There is not a thread connecting those 3 bits. It is all separate. So if I really had to, I would say 6.5, mainly just because like once Arkham says this was all part of our plan, everything after that is just window dressing. Like, okay, then there's no stakes here at all. Like, yeah, they're all going to win, they're all going to get this and blah blah blah. And then, like, the Talon thing, that didn't even feel like a scene. That just felt like something they stumbled across. That was just an accident. Like, it somehow made it in the pages. And then they tried to set up this thing with Tallulah Black at the end, but honestly, I was so tired from the first 2 bits that it didn't even feel like, okay, and then this is a thing too. But, like, are we actually doing this? Because we didn't really actually do the last 2 things. So, I don't know. This is just a little bit off for me as an issue. Art's great the whole way through. I got no problem with that. It gets a little bit heavy on the inks on a couple pages here for the Thurston Moody stuff, but it's still good. I do like the fact that Hex just punched Arkham in the face for like the second time he asked about a wife. Like, that was just funny to me. So yeah, it's I give it a 6, and I mean, it seems like it's just a 1 issue thing. I think it's going to be better next issue. But hey, who knows? Maybe we're going to have 7 acts in that one.